Before I invite Steve and our next speaker back to the stage, we all are familiar and remember what happened at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. And today we're going to highlight the story of one individual. His name is Judah Samet, who flew here from Pittsburgh today. We commend him on his courage, resilience, and fortitude. Ladies and gentlemen, please watch this short film.
People are out. The President and the First Lady will be here tomorrow. We do know more tonight about how this shooting unfolded on Saturday and about those who died.
We are pinned down by gunfire. He's firing out of the front of the building with an automatic weapon. 3410, please send the medics up here.
He was formally charged with killing 11 people in what has been called the deadliest attack on Jews in U.S. history.
Tonight we are also joined by Pittsburgh survivor, Judah Samet. He arrived at the synagogue as the massacre began. But not only did Judah narrowly escape death last fall, more than 7 decades ago, he narrowly survived the Nazi concentration camps. Today is Judah's 81st birthday.
Please join me in welcoming Judah Samet.
Shalom.
Judah, you wanted to say something to the audience first.
Yeah, I want to say something to the audience, Kal Kadosh, that I appreciate very much what you are doing for us, for the Jews. Shabbos, in the Musaf, we say, V'chol mi she'oskin b'tzorchei tzibur be'emunah. Anybody who does anything for the Jewish people in good faith, be'emunah, is more than blessed. He is blessed by God himself.
Judah, you are a double survivor. You survived Bergen-Belsen and you survived the Tree of Life attack in Pittsburgh. You arrived late that day for Shabbat services. Tell us what you saw and what you thought as you were watching the gunmen and the police shoot out.
Well, I arrived there 4 minutes late because my housekeeper kept me, and I told her I got to go. Had I gone, I wouldn't be here today because the shooting was actually indirect that killed the old lady. But still, outside, if I got out of my car, which I normally do, and walk to that little walk to the synagogue, he would pop out and I'd be right in his line of fire. So anyhow, serving in Israel in the military many years ago, over 50 years ago, I was Nachal Mutznach, a paratrooper. The thing we learned is when you hear shooting, don't shoot back because you don't know where he is. Look, find out where the bullets come from. So anyhow, I moved my head to the passenger side, and surely we were facing each other. There were 3 cars between us. But he was so focused on the detective that was standing 2 feet from me that he saw me, but he figured the danger comes from the detective, not from me. And somebody actually came over and told me, you better leave, there is a shooting in your synagogue, and go home. And on the way, all I could think, that for my family, it never ends. It just keeps going. So why I'm still around? That's a very good question. You know, when you read the Megillat Esther, the king has these bad dreams, he cannot sleep, and he asks, and he checks his diary, and he finds out that Mordechai saved his life. So he knows what that ancient Hitler, Haman, did already, And he asked him to come, and he came, and he said to him, Ma yaseh la'ish asher hamelech hafetz bikaro. What will we do for the man that the king wants him to be joyful? And I thought to myself, he was talking about himself. Why did he say the king? Haman knew he was a king. He was thinking of God, the King of Kings. Maya say, and I believe that I'm here. Somebody is guiding my walks. You know, when I was in Bergen-Belsen, I was bitten by a lice that we didn't manage to eat because my mother taught us to eat the lice. Somebody bit me. I had brain surgery in the camp, and I survived that. So, but I can't hit a good number on the lotto.
Judah, the attack in Pittsburgh obviously evoked memories of the Holocaust. Now we're seeing anti-Semitism rearing its ugly head again in America. And you were invited to the White House to President Trump. Did you say anything to him about this?
Well, he mentioned in general, but not when I was there, in his speech. You know, I come from Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania. One of my very best friends, Bill Lynch, is a retired FBI special agent, and he's in charge of pedophilia and white supremacists. And he told me, Judah, you know that the largest collection of white supremacists in America is in Western Pennsylvania. Ku Klux Klan is in Uniontown, which is about 50 miles from Pittsburgh. They even print the paper Liberty, which is the paper for all the white supremacists. And so when this shooting happened, I asked Bill, how come it didn't happen before? We are surrounded here with white supremacists. And he said, maybe it's too close to home. But unfortunately, it happened. 7 of these people belonged in my synagogue, Tree of Life. 3 belonged in New Light downstairs. We rented. And 1, a doctor, was killed in Dor Hadash, Reconstructionist movement. I knew them all, but those 7 in Tree of Life were my close friends because we were always early to come to the synagogue. Our shul starts at 9:45. Most of the people don't show up till 10:15 or even 10:30. So we knew each other very, very closely. And it wasn't easy when I saw the pictures before.
When we saw the pictures before, we saw that President Trump invited you to the State of the Union for your 81st birthday and paid tribute to you, and then later on to the White House where you met members of the Trump family.
That was before.
And before
that was before.
Before, sorry.
Yeah.
But you were told to take off your kippah. And I couldn't help thinking of the anti-Semitism commissioner in Germany, Felix Klein, advising Jews now not to wear kippot in Germany.
Well, you mentioned the kippah. This is what you call a Bukhari yarmulke. It's a beautiful thing, and I wear it mostly when I go to the Kotel. Every time I go to Israel, the first morning I go to the Kotel, and I join an Ashkenazi a group, and this Moroccan, I think, or Sephardi Jew came over. You don't belong there. You have. I said to him, I'm an Ashkenazi. I said, why you wear this kippah? I said, because it doesn't fall off my head. All the other kippot fall off my head.
I think...
So anyhow, this black woman who works for Congress came over and told me nobody wears hats in Congress. So I took it out, put it in my pocket, so that people could see it, actually. And then when I saw another one from Hungary, Joshua, whatever, he came from my city, Debrecen. He had his hat on. He's about 92 years old, about 6 feet tall. So I put my yarmulke back. Ivanka sat right behind me. And she said, Judah, I see you put your kippah back. I say, yeah, I never wanted to take it off, but I was told to. And by the way, I did tell Ivanka something that really made her happy. Ivanka is a convert. And I told her, you know, converts are more desired by God than the most righteous Jews. It tells in the Midrash that when a convert dies, his soul goes closer to God than the most righteous Jew's soul. And she loved it. By the way, she was the bright side in the White House. I mean, she speaks such simple language. She's ready to hug you and kiss you. I introduced her to my daughter and my grandchildren and my son-in-law. She went over and spent about 10 minutes with them. And Jared is already a diplomat. He's quiet. He doesn't talk. He answers, if you ask him something, very quickly. Donald Trump, I blessed him. I let him know that I let the White House know that there is a blessing that a Jew has to say when he's confronted by the leader. In ancient days, it were the kings. But today, he's the leader of the country. He's probably the leader of the Western world. So I told him, first in Hebrew, then I translated it into English. I said, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shechalak mikvodo lebasar vadam. Blessed be, O God, our King of the universe, who shares his honor with flesh and blood. And I said, that's you. Then I told him another thing, Hazak ve'ematz. And I translated, and I said, be strong and courageous. Those were the last two words that Moses told Joshua when he handed him the mantle of leadership, and he proceeded with God up the mountain to a cave, nobody knows where. But anyhow, he did something, because there were 6 other ones who walked by, shook his hand. There were 2 photographers, took the pictures, and left. He stayed with me for a couple minutes, and he turned around and shook my hand, and he said, thank you, Judah.
And
Now-
Judah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to say thank you too. On behalf of this wonderful audience, perhaps we will give a real live Jewish hero a standing applause.
Thank you.